fix something, you know it. But keep this in mind, because this will help. You see where the front of this stage strum is? See how it's aligned with the components stand in terms of where you're at? When you set up this close to the front, because the last, when you guys play on stage, here's the thing, when you guys, the saxes, they know where they're going to sit, the bones know where they're going to sit, the trumpets, you guys know where you're going to sit, the rhythm section, you set up based on who gets there first, and then everybody kind of morphs around, right? But you have to remember this, because the time signal comes out, if you're too far in the back, on stage, you are in the back, you are lined up with trumpets, okay? And what happens is, when you play way over here, you guys started with that Stevie Wonder thing, you could be 30 feet from whoever's over here. So just by the setup, you can, I mean, everybody has to know it. So if you show up late, you still set up here. So everybody, if you guys know that, that really helps, because you'll notice the difference. And because the trumpets, these guys, they're the guys playing the high notes and the kind of three, and all that. When they can see you out of the side, sometimes that helps. So this positioning is good for a couple different reasons. So the first thing I was going to do when I came in was move you up. You already did it, but you probably didn't did it in half of the year. But know that to stand here, trombone two, right? Trombone two. You want it to line up with this, and then bring you up. And then we can work with everything else. So just keep that in mind, because that'll help hear the time better. But any particular tune? That was kind of key for everything, but.
I'll let you know that the first two tunes we've had about 4 rehearsals.
Okay.
So we didn't have a lot of time to work on those if you want to do that, or Frankie and Johnny if you want to work on more nuances. So
Well,
it'll have to you.
Frankie and Johnny sounded like you guys really liked that. I mean, it came off with a lot of energy, but that could be because the signal is so strong, just because of the style of the tune. You can't miss it. But if well, it doesn't matter. Should we look at someone's,
Sure.
let's look at higher ground. Can we do that now? Let's do that with this here. But it was really good. And then, the ballad. Yeah, there were a couple things.
Yeah, and the ballad, of course, is way out of there.
Yeah,
Very in place.
yeah. Oh, let's look at, we'll touch on that. But, yeah, okay. I don't know.
Just want to start at the top here.
Yeah, just start at the top. We'll see this. But it sounds good, guys. It sounds real good. Just a couple suggestions. Go ahead. Yeah, let's take it to the top. Good job, guys.
Ready? Action. 1, 2, 3.
For right now, yeah, this is one of the things I'm talking about. Is so that's what you're feeling. Everything is based off the strip. When everybody feels this, and you want to plug in whatever you have to that rhythm. Okay. And when you come in, so you're doing that. You're doing the triplet thing with one hand. Well, yeah, but because as soon as you do that, over here he's got and what happens in the band is when you come in, something happens to the player. Like, all of a sudden you're playing, we're trying to hear it. And when you're over here, you notice how sometimes you hear the hi-hat, and then when guys play, you don't hear it because there's stuff going on between you and the hi-hat and stuff. So when you set up your signal, it's got to be strong. It just doesn't have to be there. It's got to be like in your face, So let's hear your pattern in your face. All right, let's flip it around. Tighten up the hi-hat because if it gets too you can't hear it. Okay? And alternate hands. Right. Because you're going to cramp up. Yeah. Right? So that like go ahead. Okay, good. Better. Tighten up. Is that hi-hat?
It's that.
Did you kill that hi-hat, Matt?
I don't think so. Maybe.
All right, do it again. flip the sticks, use the button. Now that's a volume control. With the same effort, you're gonna be stronger. Go ahead. That's how you want to play it. Make it even tighter. Remember. Make it, yeah. Well, you're driving the band. When you come in, it has to really be part of it. You have to be with him, and not just joining the game. You have to drive it. Do it again. Okay. All right. So here's the tempo, right? Right here. So we're going to get this not quite that fast. Sing your part. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're shy. We're shy. This is what you're going to help the brain. Right. This is what backward players do for. Again, this is playing line. And it's in a good key, and you can slam this thing. So let's try something. I'm going to put you on the spot, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Play. This is going to show you something. Alright, that's good. A little stronger. Don't apologize. Just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you play that whole thing by holding the C key down? Because this is the problem right there. You notice it when you try and go down to that low C? Try to play it, just play these first 2 beats and keep that low C down. This finger, just keep this finger down. Feel weird? We'll do it slow, just see. Okay, well, don't worry about that. Just make sure. Saxes, all right? 1, 2, 3, now. You guys, all right, what's happening is we're just phasing a little bit. Just push it, just brush it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. This kind of music, you don't relax. Everything is slotted right on the time. You're not laying it back. Pop, pop, pop. So for you, you'll feel like you're rushing. And we all get used to stuff. You know, because you get used to something doesn't mean it's right. It just means you're used to it. So I used to play in a band where we would drag and rush everything, but we were used to it. So we did it. It felt great because we were used to it. But it was wrong. But it felt great. So you want to make sure that we're lining up. So let's try this again. You stay on top. You guys are okay. When you come in, you're going to come in strong and tight. Here we go. 1. And just feel like you're pushing. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost. We're almost there. Try it again. That's good. See, your problem is they don't give you room to breathe. Look at that line. They think you're a cello. Oh, look at that. Oh, that stinks. Oh, that stinks. No wonder. See, oh, this is everything. Oh, look at that. From E flat to B flat. That's like the worst. Nobody cares about us. So, what you do, if you need to grab a fret, because otherwise you'll die, what'll happen is make sure you grab it right here. If you have to cheat anything, cheat that. You know what I mean? Even cheat this, so you own that. You want to have that, because this is the meat of it. Cool? Try it again and we'll keep going. Good, good. And that's one of the reasons why it's hard to stay in time, because it's all little fingers. You're moving the biggest keys on the horn with the weakest fingers in a triple. Everything we hate. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, push it. Strong. needs that, and it just helps line it up. I don't know, does it feel different?
Yes.
Sound it? Yeah, yeah?
Yeah, like it.
So just, sometimes you circle the stuff that, so you can cheat. Because no one's gonna play, but I've seen parts like that written where there isn't any inhale at all. But, yeah, this, I didn't realize you had all that, that's what it is, so you can, good, I was glad about that. Good stuff, yeah. So sometimes you flip it when you need it, which is just the opposite on this ballot. Can you look at the ballot? Because the ballot, you use the rod, right? So when you get big, you want to go stick, so you know, we'll talk about it. Right. Yeah, well, you have like 10, unfortunately. Did I work with you guys last year?
No, I think Jim worked with us.
Jim worked with, okay, so here we go. This is, you personally, as a drummer, you have the worst written music in music, because nothing that's on this page, he's gonna play what's on the page, he's gonna play the rhythm and the notes. You guys have a little bit, you have a little more, but you can still do what you want, but there's nothing on this page you're gonna play. Why, right? I mean, you see what's written, if you play what's on this page. Well, nobody does, so drums have this kind of other game where you have to look at it and feel what is needed more than anybody else, because everyone has notes and rhythms, but you have like a god, okay? And it's kind of unfair for you guys, because you can play this 30 different ways and it won't be wrong, right? Whether you use brushes, so it's, just know that up front, because there's nothing holy about your part, all right? So trumpets, where do you guys come in? Where does it big in the chart? Where, you know where it builds up? There was a part in this where it became, what is it? 53. Oh, 53. All right, so you're playing, right? And you, after a while, you get to know this chart. So at 53, where it's big, these rods become too weak to drive it, but they're perfect for the front of it. So what you will do in this part is, I mean, you have to know the chart. I'm just not going to say use it at 53. There may be a build-up, but as you get to know the chart, if you know where it's big, then what you want to do is you want to have your sticks set up so you can grab them and be there forward. You don't want to grab it at the peak. You want to get it just a little before you get lightened up, and then you can kind of match it, because you disappeared when it got big. All right, and so I don't know where that would be. So that means you have to position your, however, well, you guys have a different thing. I have a friend who plays percussion, and he plays in New York, and he was subbing for this show, and I think he had to play Lion King or something like that. So he's rehearsing his part, and I walked into his office, and what he had is like a maraca over here, and he had a vibraslap over here, and a snare drum over here, and he was just practicing grabbing, and I said, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm working on the part. And for us to work on the part, we're going to play the part like slower and get the word. For percussionists, they have to go to the show, see the way the guy who plays the show sets all his stuff up, make a drawing, come back, you set it up, you look at the music and make sure, because you have to look at the music and grab without looking. So for drummers, it's a whole other thing. They're grabbing equipment, making sure, it really looked weird, like he was, I don't know, like playing whack-a-mole. But that's what it is. So for drums, it's the same thing. You're going to use sticks at a certain point. You need to know where they're at. You need to get them, So wherever this is, you kind of know the chart now. You'll know when to grab it, all right? But let me see the high. Open and close your hi-hat. Do it again. All right, now open it up. You see there's a little screw on the bottom cymbal? There's that underneath the bottom cymbal. Underneath the bottom cymbal. See there's that little screw? Yeah. Turn it so the cymbals are not parallel. If the cymbals are parallel, you're going to get that